Greetings and Happy New Year. I'm filming this on the 2nd of January, 2022. I'm just sitting here in my kitchen. I thought, opportunity for a Motley Monday video. Trying to get back into the swing of things. I'm doing a couple things today. One thing I'm doing is baking, finally, baking. I'm baking some bread because I don't think you can tell, but this is the first day in a long time I'm actually sitting here without my shawl or anything wrapped around me. The window's open here. It's a nice sunny day. I believe it's in the 60s. Nice day. The rain has kind of stopped for a while anyway. And time to actually accomplish something. You know, it's really difficult for me. I don't know about you, but when it's dark and cold and I'm wrapped up trying to just keep warm, it's hard for me to function, to actually be productive in any way. I just want to, cuddle up and and stay warm. And today, today I'm making bread. One of the things my husband and I decided, no doubt about it, we are I think I mentioned before, we're so dissatisfied with bread, and we like bread, and we bake good bread, and it's much cheaper to bake bread, much easier for us to bake bread than to find a good loaf of bread. So I'm doing a little bit of baking today. It's not quite my perfect baking day. It's still a little cold in my house, but I warmed up my oven a little bit, have the light on in there so I can rise the dough in the oven. I heated up my bowl and heating up everything. Trying to get it keep it nice and warm as much as I can. So I'm excited about that. We're going to be having some fresh bread. Other than that, I am spending my day, possibly like many of you are spending your day, one of the early days in January, is planning my year to come, planning what's going to happen. I think it's misleading to say that I have made a resolution, because I don't believe in resolutions. I don't even like to use the word resolution, and I think I'm not alone. I think a lot of you have the feeling that just by saying a New Year's resolution, the phrase New Year's resolution implies something that never is going to be kept. It's sort of common knowledge that we make them, and it's sort of people make fun of people like, oh, we made a New Year's resolution with the intent. Pretty much it's a joke, and people say it almost with the intent that they intend to break it before they even make it. They know they're going to break it, so how resolved are you? How resolved are you? If you don't believe it yourself that it's going to happen, it's not going to happen. I read a little article in the New York Times about this subject, about New Year's resolutions and why they fail. I thought I would share that just with you real briefly if you're interested. It lists five different qualities that a New Year's resolution has to have in order for it to succeed at all. And the first one being, it's specific. You have to be very specific in what you want. And isn't that what we say as witches? If we want to manifest something magically, we have to be specific in our spells exactly what we want. Well, the same is true as a resolution. You can't just say, I'm going to lose weight in 2022. You're going to say, I'm going to lose 10 pounds in 2022. Something that you know, by the end of 2022, I will be 10 pounds lighter than I am today. That's something that you can be specific about. Also, that is measurable, which is the second quality that they say a New Year's resolution should have. It should be measurable. You have to just say, you don't want to just say, I'm going to lose weight. You have to say, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. You're going to say, but also, what is increments? By the beginning of summer, I will have lost 5 pounds. By the beginning of, and by Christmas of next year, 10 pounds. Break it up into little increments that you can measure. Has to be something that's achievable. I'm not going to resolve that in 2022 I'm going to become an Olympic champion. That's just not that's not reasonable. Is it reasonable? Not reasonable in any world. So it has to be something that is achievable. I'm never going to become an Olympic champion. I'm not embarrassed to say that. But it's just the truth, isn't it? After all these years, it's not going to happen at this point. It has to be something relevant to me or to you for your resolution. It can be somebody else's resolution. We say, if you hear one person say, this year I'm going to get rid of all of my possessions and really downsize and become a minimalist in my home. I'm going to get rid of everything but essential items. Well, for some people, that's not relevant. Some people, they have so many interests and so many hobbies and so many things going on, or maybe so many people with so many different needs in their house, that there's a lot of things that they need, and it's not reasonable for them to become a minimalist. That doesn't apply to everybody. And also, it has to be time bound. You have to have some kind of a timeline. It cannot just be, I resolve to be a nicer person. Well, what is that all about? That's about nothing. That's kind of nonsense. That doesn't measure up. That doesn't meet any of the criteria. But time bound, are you going to be nice for how long? You be nice forever? This isn't a life pledge. This is a New Year, a resolution. Anyway, I think we agree. I hope we agree. The word resolution does not really mean anything. But I think I am not alone, like the rest of you today. This is very common at this time of the year. We are assessing how we want the year to start. I was very interested when I was writing down the year 2022. I haven't heard somebody say 2022, the year 2022. And it made me think, we had 2020, which was a bust, which was just a shit show, right? That was horrible. And 2021, a lot of people say 2021 was just 2020 over again for a lot of ways, because we're still not over the COVID epidemic. We're not back to whatever our normal was before. We're just not there yet. Even so, some people might be pretending that they're back to normal. They're really not, because the rest of the world is not. So things are not quite normal for everybody in the same way. So I wanted to make it clear that 2022 is not 2020 also, TOO2, which means also. It is 2022, a whole new TWO year. It's a whole new time. And while timelines are man-made, we made May, 365 days, and then we turn over the calendar and it's a new year. Well, yes, that is man-made. In ourselves, in our minds, in our nature, we have this thing that we want to renew. We have this renewable spirit, just like our gardens, right? We talk about our gardens. We have a garden season, and things die, and then we start anew. We start fresh. We're doing the same thing with our year. Okay, we're doing exactly the same thing. So it's and after the holidays are over, and after all of that, and we get to the point where not all of us in the Northern Hemisphere anyway, we're in this period of time where we can't do a lot. We can't go out. A lot of people are snowbound or whatever, or it's cold. In my case, it was raining and cold and couldn't do a lot outside. It's a planning. What is going to happen in the year? We're planting our gardens. I'm getting out my seeds. I'm getting ready to start some seeds. I'm late on my winter garden. I should have already had those things planted, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm better late than never for some of those. It's still going to have a lot of cool weather for me to plant things like cabbages and broccoli and my peas and things like that. So yes, it is about the garden. It's about other things. But I'm not making resolutions, but I am planning. And I want to say, you heard me say in my video, I think coming up just a few weeks ago, when I said I have a plan that was in my book. I have in my bullet journal. It's all about the planning. It's all about the planning. That's actually my mantra for the year 2022 TWO. It is about the planning. Because I have found my last couple of years have pretty much gone to hell. They've gone to hell. My father would say they've gone to hell in a handbasket, and my grandmother would say they've gone to hell in a handbasket. Not worth the paper that it's written on. You might recall in the year, I think it was 2019? 2019. This is when I started my adventure into the bullet journals with you. I did that. I did my channel, I think, when I was planning the journal. I was so excited, and I started out, with all kinds of, in 2019 I will evolve, because my year, I had the death card in 2019, and it was all about, I wanted to make my journal all pretty with images that I loved, and this idea of, there was my year spread, my tarot spread, tarot wheel of the year. I had projects in the beginning. I was keeping track of my savings, how we saved. I kept track of, chakras, working on different parts of the chakras, and I had kept track of all my moons. There was the wolf moon coming up in January. All these things, I just kept track of everything. I wanted to keep track of my garden every day, my bills. I had chart after chart after chart after pretty picture, and I was trying very much to keep it pretty and to record memories and to journal every day and write about a tarot card, etc. and plan things. And what happened? I did pretty good in the first part. In the first actual year, I did actually pretty good. I actually filled 3 books. 3 books pretty much to the end. This is my 3rd book of that year. And I just had, I don't know, maybe 20 pages left at the end that I did not get to. I did not ever fill. And I did pretty good. But I want to say it was a chore. It was pretty much of a chore. It bogged me down. It kind of bogged me down. And it was fine. It was nice, but it kept me bogged down. And because I had a really busy year. 2018 was a really busy year for me. By the time I got into 2020, I started again, and here I had oranges that I read. I went into orange books. And I started out pretty much basically the same. This time I was into the temperance card. And I started pretty. I started the same way. I had a lot of here was my spread there for that year. I used the Force of Enchantment Tarot that year. I still kept track of things. I started keeping track of savings, and here I still did the Wolf Moon in January. I was starting out pretty much the same. But then I came to blank. Then I came to calendars with nothing on them, blank. Then I came to just a mismatch of mess. Just a bunch of messes. A lot of some empty pages and some good pages, but it was like a mix. And there was my one, and there was a second one. By the time I got into the second journal, I'm flashing this. This is like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. I apologize. I'll try to be more deliberate in showing you, because you're really not. I realize you're really not sitting across the table from me, and I'm just like, I'll try to be more deliberate in my showing. Even though these are nothing really it's not really anything to see, but I did pretty good. I did pretty good. In the second year. But by the time this was 2020, but by the time I got back into the last, I found that I ran out of stuff, because remember we were locked up in 2020, we didn't go anywhere, and it was hard to stay positive, and I have more than half of the third journal is completely empty. Okay. So I was like, all right, so 2021 came, and I got excited, and I'm going to start again 2021. This is my journal for 2021. 1. This was 19. 3 full ones. This was 20. 2 full ones and a bit. 2021. Half of a book. What happened to me? What happened to me? What happened to me? I went to shit. I'm sorry. My life, I was confused. I didn't know where I was going. I would get, like, I had periods of inspiration in this journal where I would start, we spent a lot of time inventorying all of our, because, you know, and I want to say during 2020, particularly when we couldn't leave our houses, we were quarantined, a lot of us experienced some shortages that we couldn't get. I was determined that wasn't going to happen to me again, so I worked really hard to stock up on certain foods to make sure my freezers were full, to make sure my pantry shelves were full. Not just that they were full, but I knew what I had. So we spent a lot of time recording all the things that we had. But we still take out, pick up a curb, pick up a curb, pick up a curb, right? Pick up a curb. I wrote my charts in. I just did not, I want to say, I'm not going to go on and on about it, but I just want to say, I would get excited. I would want to do meal planning. And I just failed because I never kept it going. I didn't have any rhyme or reason to it. We didn't have a plan. We did not have a plan. We didn't have an objective. There was no objective here. Okay, so was this going to be the end of these bullet journals? Well, no, it was not going to be the end of a bullet journal for me because, you know, for me, I'm a pencil and paper person. I'm a person who makes lists, who my whole life I made lists. I would make lists and then I would make lists of my lists, and I organized my lists by colored pencils, and you know, I'm very much a paper person. I write it. I'm a visual learner. When I write it, I know it. I see it. That's just who I am. That's who I am. So I wanted this. I needed this, and I needed the journal. But I needed these journals more than I needed. I still had all these tablets, and I still had papers and tablets and notebooks and everything everywhere, because I really wasn't concise. Because the very nature, I think, of the bullet journal was, don't try to set it up ahead of time. Don't, you know, you have a table of contents, you're given a table of contents in the beginning, and most of them there's a table of contents, because you're supposed to be able to just go to your table of contents, and you write in the pages that you have. Like if I wanted to know, where would I find something, like if I wanted to find, here I have uses for nasturtiums on pages 225 and 226 in this journal. Okay, well that's all well and good, but I have to get out every journal. I have to get out every journal to find the journal that has the table of contents, that has the uses for nasturtiums. You see what I mean? It's not, for somebody like me who has so many different areas of interest, let's say, it's kind of difficult for me to use this system that the idea of the bullet journal came up with, the very system. You just keep going. You don't do anything ahead of time. You just keep going. If you interrupt your calendar for some other page, you just put the interruption or whatever in your table of contents. You use your dot system to either exit out when it's completed or arrow it, point it forward to say that you're going to carry it on to another page. I understand the system. The system as a system works really well for me. But the system works. The journals do not, the way I set them up with that system. I need something different. I need to have a specific plan. I need to have a specific, it has to be easy, because what happened with me was it got to be a lot of trouble for me to, what day is it? I don't know. Oh, I didn't set up my calendar in my journal yet. I didn't draw the squares and color in the times and put in the numbers and put in the full moons and put in the, it wasn't there. I have a couple months in one of these journals, I think in the orange, or maybe in this one, in this blue one, in this year. December's calendar is not here. The last calendar that I drew in here, the last one was I want to say November, but I can't even find. I see September. I think September was the last one that I drew. I stopped putting in the monthly Septembers because look, it isn't even pretty. I didn't even put any headings or any washi tape or stickers. It wasn't pretty. I didn't want to use it. It wasn't pretty. So what I started to do instead is I started to do weekly calendars, okay? Where the days of the week and what was happening, what Joe was doing, I was doing, what we're both doing. And I tried to have those kind of things. You know, I did that constantly, but I did not, you know, here I am included like YouTube videos that I was going to do that I never really did. Oh, I maybe did them, but I didn't even indicate that I'd done them or not. It was a bloody mess. This was a mess. I'm embarrassed. I'm a complete flop. I was a complete failure about this. So why am I even bothering to do another bullet journal? Excuse me, I have to have a drink because I started to cough. Okay. So why am I even bothering having a journal at all? Well, I think I might have alluded to it a little bit earlier, that for me, I have to write down everything. And it makes much more sense for me to have one journal or fewer things to write in than all of these tablets and notebooks and papers and scratch papers and that drive me crazy. Because then I find I'm sorting through notebooks, I'm sorting through tablets, I'm sorting through stacks of scratch papers. It's really a mess. It's hard for me to do that. I needed to have that plan. Planning is everything. I need to plan. I went through these journals. I just spent the last couple of days while I'm sitting here waiting for other things, sorting through, looking through my seven journals to see what worked for me and what did not work for me. What do I like and what do I not like? And I'm being invaded by ants from the rain. Yeah. Okay. I like having a calendar. I don't like having the weekly calendar because it's too many times I have to draw too much. I like a pretty calendar. I like a calendar that tells me the days of the week and leaves me room to write in the boxes. I like to know when I can write in when, you know, my husband's piano lessons or my tarot readings or whatever I have in here. My book club, when we have rituals or whatever, gatherings of some kind, when there's a new moon, when there is a full moon. I need to know those things. I need that. I need one calendar a month. I don't need all those weekly calendars. So I really am planning on, once I get ahead and to try to get ahead and place at least the next calendar in a timely fashion. So by the time I get, because also a lot of people do what they have a future log in the back of their journal where they write down everything for what do I need to know for July before I get to July. Well, you can do that, but I can also take a Post-it and write something on a Post-it and stick it where I think July is going to be, or approximately, or just, you know, carry it through until I get the July calendar made, and then it can go on that way. So I don't have to do all these different calendars. That's too much time. I know I like the pretty things at the front. And I want to tell you, while we're on the subject, you know, I'm looking at myself in the camera and I'm embarrassed. My hair is such a horrible mess. I had that up, I had the clip in because I was baking and I didn't want to bake hair and bread, but I've been keeping track of my card of the year, and of course, the first year that I did this was death, and then I had temperance, and then I had the devil, and I've been worried about this, the way things have been going about this year, because this year, what comes next? Da da da, the Tower. The Tower is my card for this year, which to most people is all about something horrible. Something horrible is going to happen. But it's really not that. It's an upheaval, true. It's an upheaval if something is going to end for sure. something that's going to be painful is going to end. But of course, we know that it's not always something horrible. It could just be, and I found this this really good statement about it. It said, if you're a highly aware or an intuitive person, the Tower card can indicate a spiritual awakening for you. And so that you enable you to see the cracks that are forming in the foundation before the thing all comes crumbling down. That might be your opportunity to break away free from old ways of thinking that have been holding you back. And I think when I saw that, I was okay with it, because I can actually see that happening in my life. That's actually what is happening in my life. And so I've decided to embrace the Tower card this year. I'm not gonna ignore it. I'm gonna embrace it. I know, nothing is permanent. Nothing is all bad in tarot. Nothing is all good in tarot. And I'm gonna embrace this. So what I did, I can show you my plan for how I'm gonna do that, which I guess that's still part of the same topic. But do I even need a topic? It's just a Motley Monday. It's an assortment of what I'm doing. I have taken images. I copied some images of the Tower card in different. These are Tower cards in my decks, in some of my favorite decks that I have. And every month I'm going to have something to say about the Tower card in my journal. Because remember, if you don't watch any of my tarot videos, you won't know this. But those of you who do watch my tarot videos, which on this channel are coming out, they come out Tuesdays now. I'm trying to do it on Tuesdays. If there's a new tarot video, it will come out on a Tuesday. But every deck has a little bit of a twist to their cards. Usually not every deck, but many of them do. So I'm going to utilize that to try to see how that Tower card is showing its face in my life this year. And that's planning. So this was planning. I had to, in order for that to happen, if I could just make a resolution, I could just say, I'm going to do that this year. But you know what? To make sure I'm going to do it this year, I've made the copies now. I'm going to cut them out. And in the back of my journal anyway, in the very back of these journals, is a little pocket. And I can stick them down in the pocket for when the month comes. Or I could just get an envelope, like an old-fashioned way to do it, or a paper clip, or stick them in a shoebox. They're ready to go. They're ready to go. So I don't have to do it. This is what we mean by planning. If I had to stop and find a card and find an image and do it, I would never do it. It would never appear in my journal. This way, it's going to appear. So I'm really going to be able to utilize this, and this is going to be a great tool for me in order to have this Tower card come to light. What else I did, if you saw my video where I did the year and my year reading, here's an image of it. Of all the 36 cards, I drew 3 cards for each month of the year. In my Crow decks, I have the Crow Tarot, I have the Murder of Crows Tarot, and I have the Urban Crow Oracle that I did for every month of the year. And I said I wasn't going to spend a whole lot of time on it, but my plan is, I plan to go and look every month to see how these 3 cards that were drawn for that month are playing out as they play out. Or probably I will do a little thing at the end. So what have I done there? Oh, I planned it. I am so excited because I really did this. And so I made an image papers of the 3. There's January cards, February cards, March, April, all the way through December, all 36. I'm going to cut these little strips out, cut them out, cut the little strips, this is scratch paper now, and I'm going to keep them in my book in a little envelope, or again, and then another envelope, or a shoebox, or I don't know where. Paper clip them to my book. I'm going to keep them. So when January comes, and at the end of January, I'm going to do put a little entry in my journal where I can say, how did that happen? How did that happen? How did that manifest? Did it in my life in January? How did those cards relate to what happened to me in January? It's a plan. It's part of a plan. You heard me say earlier, I know in one of my videos, if I didn't in this one, that we have problems with meals here. We have, we have freezers full. I've got 1, 2, 3 freezers. My refrigerator in the kitchen. I've got another refrigerator in the garage that has a freezer. And I have a chest freezer out here on my sun porch. A big chest freezer. Full of things. I have things canned for my garden. All through my sun porch out here, I have a couple cupboards full, whole shelves full and cupboards full. I've got pantries everywhere. I've got a pantry in the garage and another little pantry, working pantry here. We have all of these things. Why am I getting pick up at the curb? Why am I ordering? Because we're not planned. So we are really going to plan. And I had in my old journals, my old ones, every week I would put up a little planning thing where this week this is what we're having on this this week's, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, what we're having. Okay. And half of the time I'm looking through, it says Del Taco, El Torito, whatever. Not a good thing. That's not a good thing. We don't need those foods. So what am I doing this time? I'm taking this. It didn't work because sometimes I wouldn't even have time. I wouldn't have drawn every week. I had to draw the little stupid thing, right? I don't have to do that this week. This month, I've put meal plans for 4 weeks, the whole month on one spread. I have them divided by days, and then I have room. Here I am back on Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. I'm so sorry. I'm going to go slowly. I have room here. There's nothing much to show you, but I have room that I can make notes. Oh, this is the weekend where this is somebody's birthday, so I have to do something for that. I won't be home this weekend or whatever. Put notes on there. Or I have to do this. If I want this, I'm going to have to. If I want to have this thing, I have to bake bread. Make sure I have bread, or make sure I have. We're going to do. Oh, I want to do pea soup. I want to have a Reuben sandwich. I got some sauerkraut. I have to do a corned beef. I have a corned beef in the freezer. I've got to get it out and cook it for this. So I'm going to make little notes here beside. It's a plan. If I get a plan, I'm less likely to fail. I'm writing it down. It follows the resolution steps, perhaps, the requirements, but it's not a resolution. It's a plan. It's a plan. I am not planning to fail. I am planning to succeed. This is for me. This is a plan for me and for my husband to make our life better. I told you in the past we got this bus. We have a bus. We're not even going to talk about the bus really until we finish. We have a few projects in the house, and now we have 2 projects like ahead of it in the queue. We have to finish a remodel in the bathroom, and we're putting a porch on this one side of the house. That has to be done before we go and tackle that bus, okay? But in the meantime, if I'm going to go in that bus and I'm going to be happy in the bus, there are certain criteria. What am I going to be doing? How am I going to be doing meals? What kind of meals am I going to be eating on that bus? Collect those kind of things now, ideas or recipes or whatever you have. Now is what I'm doing, okay? What am I going to do for fun? I'm not going to have a TV. What am I going to do for fun? Okay, I'm planning that now. So if I have success, if I go down there, we go down to San Diego for the weekend. What am I going to do in San Diego for the weekend? In my bus. You see, it's all about planning. Planning to succeed. Planning to have a good time. Planning to have a good life. Planning to make the changes in your life. I'm all about that, and I'm sharing that with you today because I don't want you to make a resolution. I want you to think about what you need in your life. What do you have around you that you need that is special to you and not other people? How will your life improve? Your personal life improve? What do you have need? What about your house that you need to do? What about your body that you need to do, or your health that you need to do? Specifically, not just I'm going to be healthy. No, you won't. You won't if that's the way you think about it. Okay? You're going to plan specifically. Make a plan. Write it down. Put it down so you can measure it. Put it down so you can see it happening. Okay. Whatever it is. Whatever it is. Okay. I've been rambling. I know I've been rambling. And I'm really sorry. I'm waiting for my bread to rise. And I still have about 30 more minutes before it's going to rise. But I was really happy to talk to you and share my plan with you. If you're interested, you can see how it follows up later. I'll let me know, and I'll be sure to tell you, particularly something like my monthly readings and things like that if you're interested. And if you're interested in things like my monthly readings and things, maybe you want to come back and check out my tarot videos that come up on every Tuesday. If I have a new one, it'll come up on a Tuesday. But in the meanwhile, I have quite a few tarot videos. Then I have some are on a playlist and some are not. But there's quite a few. And they're timely. They can be watched pretty much any time. So, anyway. I appreciate you watching. My plan to try to do the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at least videos, follow some kind of a schedule. I hope that's working for you. It's working for me a lot. I had, when I wrote down that plan to do that, where's my schedule? Let's see. I'm leafing through my journal. I'm trying to find it. Here it is. All about the planning. I did it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. About 7 or 8 weeks of sticking to my plan. And I think that's pretty good. I can see it and I can mark it off and I can look ahead and I found they have a lovely little feature here on YouTube that allows me to schedule when I want something to be shown. That's really working for me. So I hope it's working for you. Let me know in the comments. Anyway, thank you so much for watching today. If you're new and you just happened upon this, I would appreciate you would subscribe. That would be lovely if you subscribed, or give me a thumbs up if you want to, or leave a comment. I'm not very good about replying to comments here, but I do read them, and I try to answer questions from time to time on videos of things that I'm asked the most. If you have an urgent matter that you want to discuss with me, you can contact me at goodwife@cox.net. Same spelling as the channel, goodwife@cox.net. And we'll hook you up. Okay, thank you for watching. I always wish you blessings, and this time I wish you blessings and a happy, healthy New Year.